What happened to the Chevy Cerv III? Hello, my name is Sean. Welcome to the channel, and that's what we're going to be discussing. And to understand what happened to the Chevy Cerv III, we have to know exactly what the Chevy Cerv III was. The Cerv III was a 650 horsepower, twin turbocharged hypercar. And oh, was this car a hypercar. It had a body that was made out of Kevlar, Nomex, and carbon fiber, reinforced with aluminum, with titanium suspension components, all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, and a 6-speed automatic. And because this car was exotic and also a hypercar, it also features scissor doors, something you would only see on a Lambo of that era. And I know what you're thinking. I just released a video stating how the C8 Corvette wasn't a supercar. What made this 30-year-old prototype Corvette any different? Well, the difference is how quick this car was. Even for its time, this car had a 0 to 60 time just under 4 seconds and a top speed of 225 miles per hour. Think about that number, 225 miles per hour. There was only a handful of cars that had that kind of speed in the early 90s, one of them being the Vector W8, which also had a twin turbocharged V8 from a Corvette with a similar transmission. And the Vector W8 top speed is supposed to be 242 miles per hour, even though it's actually around 210 or 220, which is the same ballpark as this car. And by those standards, that is completely insane. Not only did the Cerv 3 have the technology, the speed, the looks, it also had the pricing, because the number crunchers there at GM said this car would have cost buyers around $300,000. That is $300,000 back in 1990. That is a ton of money. That's going to lead us into what actually happened with this car. As you can tell, it didn't get made. It wasn't actually a plan for GM to build these cars. It was more of a test car to showcase the abilities of GM and its, new V8 engine. The same engine in this car actually was placed into the ZR1, which came out a few years later. Matter of fact, it came out that same year. And it also didn't help that GM was going through financial woes at the time. They had already pushed back the C5 Corvette, which this car has a lot of styling cues with, multiple times, because they were having hard times financing their cars. And they didn't want to make another half-assed attempt at making another sports car, so they just lengthened the life of the C4. The Corvette wanted to focus more on a track-oriented car and not straight-line speed, which is the reason why the ZR1 wasn't built in the C5 generations of Corvettes. So there you have it. The reason why this car was never placed into production, it was more of a prototype research vehicle, and the Corvette division wanting to take their cars in another direction really put a kibosh on this car. Also with the financial situation of GM at the time. The market was pretty bad in the late 80s to early 90s. So, they had to cut their losses, and this is one of the cars they cut their losses with. And this video marks the end of Corvette week, and I can't say if it's been a success or a failure, because my videos take a long while to gain any traction. So I guess we'll have to figure that out in the next coming weeks or so. But I really do hope you guys enjoyed these videos. I hope you found them a little bit educational or whatever. And yeah, I'd like to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.